the Boozer Brothers. We're drinkers, not experts.
Here we are. Hello. Welcome to episode 2. We've made some changes since last time. I hope you guys like it. Today we're going to be reviewing Four Roses small batch bourbon.
Absolutely. And what we're gonna do is, just like always, we're gonna walk you through this bottle 5 different ways. Our initial testing of what we think, drinking it neat, couple of ways cold, and then we're gonna have a little fun, play with our bourbon in a segment that we call Bourbon Alchemy. Oh, I like the goggles that you're donning right there.
In the lab.
Yep. We're gonna have a good time, but keep in mind, we're drinkers.
If you've been watching, you know definitely not experts.
All right, Mark. So I hope that you've been well since we last got together.
I've been good. Yeah, been good. Shannon had an event we went to. Everything went great.
Lovely.
I haven't drank too much since then. This is really all I've had was the Four Roses that I've taken from the top to here.
Very nice.
I'm excited.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the people on the podcast are going to see it, but I have my Infinity bottle that we talked about last show with me. Have you got yours started?
I have to start it with this bottle because I drank all the rest of the other one. I drank it all, and I said I was supposed to keep a little bit. So I do have a decanter just for it, though.
Okay, excellent. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Well, I think what we need to do is get right on along with things here and see what our initial opening and thoughts are on the first tasting of the bottle. You ready for this?
Ready, go.
All right, you're up first. Here we go.
All right, here we go. First taste. Four Roses, small batch. Plastic on the top here. Don't like that, but I get it. All right. Ooh, no, very little smell. Very light color too. Looks lighter in the glass than in the bottle. So far, I'm not a fan. Caramel. Sweet caramel flavor. Very smooth. It's not harsh at all, but there's something I don't like about it, honestly. I can't place it. I'm gonna have to do it in the review, but so far not so good. Not for what I expected of it, honestly. And I've had other Four Roses that I liked a lot more than this.
All right, so it feels like you're bound and determined to prove that we're drinkers, not experts.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to podcasting, there was quite a few segments of silence.
And you know, it's first of all, it sounds like whatever the audio issue was last week with the feedback, you got that fixed.
Oh yeah, well you did that. Yeah, I know what I'm doing now.
Muy, whatever good is. And
yeah.
Muy bien.
Muy bien. Muy importante.
Yeah, I'm drinking it, and I'm like, the first thing that hits me isn't what does this taste like. It's like I'm not liking that. I don't know if I was sick or whatever. I like it other ways that we'll find out later in the podcast.
Okay. let's go to mine because I've got a very different initial take than you did. Okay, it's Mark Sandlin, and this is my first impressions, first tasting of Four Roses small batch. It's a nice enough bottle. I've always appreciated the raised roses on the front of the bottle. I'm going to go ahead and cut to the chase and cut off this seal at the top, make it a lot easier. I always love this sound. All right, a little pour here. It's nice. It's light, refreshing. You get definitely clear oak. Maybe a little bit of almost cherry, but that's just the nose. Let's see what it tastes like. It's almost, I don't know, it's rich. It's almost creamy kind of. Get that, the oak, the rye, maybe a little cinnamon. And I do still pick up some cherry, very slight cherry notes. It's all kind of balanced. It's nice. I like it. The finish, I like the finish. It's kind of a big finish. Well, let's not call it big. It's a stronger finish than the palate gave me. Kind of hit all the same notes, but kept it nice and open and warm, and it's still lingering. So I really like that. Overall, so far, really, really am liking this. Okay.
How are we even friends?
No, I don't. This seems impossible. I don't know. This is two very different takes on that, but that's okay because everyone has different palates. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that at all. So yeah, I've noticed a clear difference. Like it's going to be interesting because as we get ready to go into these next tasting notes, there is something I picked up on with ice that might be what you're talking about. The different taste that you're not sure you like.
It best with ice. Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
I did like it best.
Oh, you did. I that's interesting because that's the one that I felt like had a little bit of finish that I could get why someone might go, I'm not sure I like this.
As I was listening to you, there are things that as I drank more times, because I did each sort more than once.
Mm-hmm.
I did get cinnamon. I did get either a butterscotch or a caramel.
Yeah.
I did get some burn, something, rye or oak.
Right.
And I think maybe I don't know, maybe I had a cold or something. Because this, now that I'm drinking it neat now, I do better than then, but it's still probably 3rd out of 4. I haven't tried old fashioned yet, but 3rd out of the 4 ways.
All right, fair enough. So I tell you what, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about our takes on our 2 cold versions of this. You ready?
Ready, yeah.
All right, let's do this. All right, man. We are back, and we're going to talk about how we liked it, or what our notes were, at least tasting it with some coolness added to it. And we're going to start with on the rocks, actual on ice. So what were your thoughts, man?
So one thing I noticed on the ice was it was sweeter, and I picked up a clove taste that I didn't have. I neat, and as I drink it now, I'm still not getting it. I don't know if it was like something that seemed too powerful, neat, but with the water it came out, and I liked that a lot. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever had another whiskey that like one of the top 1 or 2 notes that I hit reminded me of clove, like the clove gum or clove cigarettes. And I've always liked that flavor. I don't know if you were getting anything of that.
I didn't necessarily name it as that, but I could see that taste. For me, doing it on ice, I like at first it was really muted. Like just trying to smell it, the ice for me like killed any real smell. I was like, if I try real hard, maybe I'm picking up some very light vanilla oak, maybe a little tiny caramel, but not anything strong. And then I thought that the not so strong followed all the way through. Like the palate for me, it started very soft, the kind of oak, vanilla, cherry blended in. Mid palate, I got a little more of the oak and a little of the rye kind of cinnamon caramel like we had talked about. But here's the one where I was thinking maybe this was something you're picking up on. I don't know. The finish on ice for me, the very first hit on the finish was this sort of minerally vanilla, like almost, I don't know. It was just, I didn't care for it. It had a very mineral edge to it. And I had cherry that kind of leaned towards orange and ultimately some light caramel. But for me, I didn't like it on ice.
It's funny because we not only we live in different parts of the country, in Appalachia in North Carolina, and I'm in the Mid-Atlantic.
Right.
And so obviously, and we know because we tried to talk about it last time, the water we're using is different. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Out of the bathroom sink. And you use
the classic guy that you are.
your Highline purified water. And so that could be making a difference. But
it easily could be.
I didn't get a mineral. I had vanilla and caramel from the beginning. It tasted, the clove came out a lot more when it had the water, the cold water aspect to it. I didn't necessarily get that just being cold with the rocks, though. How'd you do with the chilled glass or the whiskey stones?
Well, I did a little bit better with the whiskey rocks. I got a stronger nose from it, like caramel, back to that kind of cherry leaning orange. And I got also, for some reason this way, I got this very kind of earthy undertone. I couldn't quite like say anything more specific, but it just was an earthy kind of undertone. Then as I drank it, it started off sort of vanilla rye, but then it was soft vanilla rye, but then it goes to sort of a bigger cherry flavor, some black pepper, even kind of leathery for me.
Yeah. I was just going to say the leather when you said the
earthy part. And that's probably ultimately what it was, but the flavor didn't develop for me until, mid palate. And then the finish for me, I went back to that kind of, this time it was a more clear mineral thing. It was like a tin or a copper kind of, I'm going to make up this description. It was a tin copper honeyed caramel kind of thing.
Put it on the bottle.
There you go.
Tin honey caramel. Mark Sandlin.
It had cinnamon, and then it finished nice with this kind of chest warmth that lingered. It wasn't a big, strong burn or anything, but it was a nice kind of chest filling warmth that kind of hung on for a little bit. What was your take?
Being 90 proof, it does have some heat that less than 100 proof would normally have.
Yes.
One thing I noticed, and I noticed it more with the whiskey rocks, and then when I went back and had neat again, I noticed even more. This is for lack of a better word, it's a thick whiskey. It's got a lot of body to it.
Yeah, and it's aided by the fact that it really does have this silky, creamy mouthfeel to it.
It's very substantial. It doesn't just go down. You don't just swallow it. You almost have to chew it.
And like you said, at 90 proof, it's a little surprising, but the fact that they're using 3 mash blends that are kind of high-end mash blends that they're putting, or 4, that they're putting together to make this one. It's not so surprising that they've been able to develop it into something that comes off a little more sophisticated and complex than what you see on the bottle might lead you to believe.
Right. I mean, we're going to keep dragging Basil Hayden probably the whole time we do the show, but Basil Hayden was very thin when you drink it compared to something like this. And Basil Hayden was 80 proof, which is light. 90 proof is 90 proof, that was light. But the difference in consistency was stark, and on the Whiskey Rocks, it was more stark.
Yeah, I completely agree. I didn't like it on ice. I enjoyed it on the Whiskey Rocks, and I really, unlike you, I really liked it neat. A matter of fact, that's what I'm drinking as the show's going on.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, all right, very nice, very nice. Have you been monitoring our comment sections at all?
Nobody's in here so far.
Well, there is one. We have a guest right now, but that's okay.
I don't know if we're throwing them off by having it a little earlier. But
it's all good. It's all good. I was just making sure.
We're the same guys.
Yeah, I was just making sure before we went to our next break that we didn't need to respond to anybody, and we don't right now. So let's take another break as we prep ourselves to lead into Bourbon Alchemy, our fun time with some bourbon. Yeah.
Get in the lab.
Just a taste. Just a taste. Come on now, just a taste. Oh yeah, just a taste.
All right, man, we're back. I don't know what happened between last show and this show, and I will edit out this part of the comments, but my drops went from 15 seconds to 15 minutes, and they're still sitting there just like they always were. So I've had to cut them all short, but I'll fix that in post-production. So give us a moment of silence and bring us in from that break.
All right, here we go. Coming back into the lab. I got my goggles on. They're fogging up as usual. I can barely see out of them.
I've got mine on too, but better safe than sorry as we experiment here with our bourbon. What are we going to do first, man?
Well, I got my for the people that don't know, there's a whole subculture of water drops completely changing the complexity of whiskey, and Mark and I are completely fascinated with it, even though we have no idea how it works.
It blew our mind the first time. I think we both were kind of like skeptics. We're like, yeah, whatever.
Let's make that into a segment. So here we are.
Let's make fun of it, and then we tasted it and went, oh God, it kind of works.
So the idea is, and there's on Reddit you can read about it. There's people that go and they do 1 drop, they do 2 drops, they do mineral water, they do tap water, they do purified water into different whiskeys, and they say how those change the taste. And we're not that sophisticated. We're just going to do 1 or 2 drops per episode and see how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've done 3 most of our episodes. So here's my favorite sound again.
That's a great sound. I have a Marvel cup here.
God.
Got some ice and some water in here.
How are we friends, man?
I don't. I almost try. It's like I'm trolling you.
It's like it really is. It's like you're doing your water out of a plastic cup. I mean, I'm not upset about the Marvel stuff, but
yeah, I got.
But look, you got a dropper
in the eyedropper now. I can put the ice to the side for the. All
right, I've got mine too. You count us down.
How many are we gonna do?
Let's do 3. Yeah.
You know what's important though is we gotta make the mixture right. I got about a shot of whiskey in here. How much do you?
I got slightly over a shot, but not by much.
All right, let me add a little more. I want to make sure.
There you go. We want to be neck and neck on this. Absolutely.
All right, I probably got
that looks about even right there.
Short shot and a quarter there. That'd be a big shot, boy.
All right, well, count us down here.
All right, here we go. Do 3 drops. 1, 2, 3, go.
All right, there's my 3.
There we go. Swish her around a little.
Got my little spoon. All right. What do you think of the nose?
It smells way more alcohol-y to me.
Oh, yeah, I agree. And it feels like to me, I've not picked up on a buttery edge, but I get a little buttery edge now.
This smells way more like actual alcohol here. Here we go.
Yeah. Woo. So, what's your initial take? What's that? Me first?
Yeah,
Okay, sure. So, I don't know what it is about this particular one. It starts off in the mouth very faint for me every time so far. But I got then a kind of oak vanilla, quickly to a cinnamon black pepper kind of almost burn with a little maybe undernote of caramel, but not too heavy.
The sweet is almost completely gone from what I had.
Yes, before. I agree. And I'm picking up on that dark fruit, the kind of cherry that I can. I'm picking up on it a lot less this way, which is weird that the 3 drops of water. I don't know. Maybe it's all in my head, but I'm just not.
Because we drink it neat. We drink it with ice, which has way more water than this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is completely outside of either of them.
Yeah.
This is
for me. It pulls the cinnamon forward. It pulls the rye forward. It pulls the black pepper forward. And it's like you said. It kind of mutes the caramel sweetness. Kind of mutes the sweet fruitness.
It's more complex, but not better. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's more to it. Like I can taste a lot more of the pepper burn. I get more of that. We called it earth. We called it leather. I get more of that.
Mm-hmm.
It does have kind of like a not sweet, but like a hint of plum or cherry or something like you were saying.
Yeah, and like you said, it's like a very dark version of some kind of fruit. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a sweet in any real way at all.
And the finish is much worse. I don't know what's going on with the finish.
Like I said, I get for me, it still leaves that kind of, I'm going to call it a tin, almost copper, vanilla kind of something there. Not a fan of that part. I didn't get that neat at all.
Neat's better than this. The water.
Yeah. I mean, this is probably the first one that's happened for us.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I thought what did we have last time?
Last time was Maker's Mark 46.
The Maker's Mark with the water drops was pretty good. It was unique.
I thought it was great. I think I can't remember, but I probably even said it's my new favorite way to drink Maker's Mark 46.
I think you did. Play back the tape.
It opened right.
Yeah.
It opened everything up and made it much more complex and more even throughout the taste. I just really liked it a lot. But this one, I'm ready to clink it and drink it, man, because there's no sense in sipping on this, right?
Here we go.
Get that one down the gullet because it didn't help too much. It was better than it was cold, but it didn't do what we were used to it doing, I would say.
So now you're the schedule person. I forget. Do we have a break before we go to the old fashioned, or we go right?
We are going straight into our old fashions, and I got to tell you, I have changed mine up a little bit this time. So why don't you tell me a little bit about how you're doing yours?
All right, I'm doing mine the regular way I've been doing it. I haven't changed anything.
Nothing wrong with that. Right?
Here, I'm taking my.
Just using some nice table sugar, just plain old nothing.
Yeah. Baltimore's own. I'm gonna get a sponsorship out of Domino Sugar before we're done. Baltimore Domino Sugar. If it's not Domino's, it's crap.
Okay. Well, I am going to go a different direction and compete to get a sponsor here with Turbinado cane sugar. This
you were doing the monk fruit. What happened?
I had been, but listen, I went to a local cocktail bar with my wife on our date night. These guys really knew what they were talking about. They're talking about bourbon. They had amazing bourbon selection, and I asked for an old fashioned. And instead of taking sugar and mulling it, they had made a simple sugar out of this Turbinado cane sugar. And I have to tell you, it was one of the best old fashions I've ever had. So I have right here in this glass, I have made my own simple sugar. So
is that what you spilled right before the show?
That is exactly what made everything sticky and
In
not
this show,
pleasant.
guys, you get the back scene. He spilled it like 2 minutes before the show.
I really did. But that's okay. I've recovered from it, and I'm ready to.
What's your bitters? Well, tell me about your bitters.
Well, I always mess up the name on this. It's Peychaudis. Peychaudis. Peychaud''s. I love them. It's got a little more of a licorice undertone to it than other bitters might have. A little clove in it as well, so I like that a lot. I'm going to build mine simply by doing a couple eyedroppers of this simple syrup made out of that dark cane syrup. I'm then going to give myself 3 dashes of my bitters.
I like that you're back on board with the regular sugar.
There you go. It took a lot, but I had that one taste and I knew it. I'm going to top it off and put some cherries in it. How are you going to finish yours?
I got the Fee Brothers 1864 Old Fashioned Aromatic Bitters. Got it from Fish Paw on Route 2 in Severna Park, Maryland. I'm going to do a couple dashes in here right on top of my my cube. I've got some Marciano cherries, pitted stem on from Tillin Farms. I've been thinking about it. I'm not only going to put a cherry in here, I'm going to pour a little of the cherry juice in.
I always try to get a little. I use
go for it here.
Fabri, which is an Italian cherry that I'm probably butchering the name of. But I always make sure with my spoon I get a little bit of that cherry juice. And then I'm just going to use the spoon to twirl the ice around a little bit.
I don't know where my spoon went. I'm going to have to mash it with my eyedropper.
I figured you were just going to do it with your finger with the class. Yeah, I mean, that's what I figured you were going to go
for it.
All right,
caveman style.
This is not surprising. This is not surprising.
Pour my booze in.
All right. I tell you, man, that simple sugar, simple syrup from that sugar, the carbonado sugar, it's just, it changes everything. You know, this is I'm interested to see what you think of your concoction there. I think this is a pretty good application of Four Roses, the small batch, personally. I really kind of think it shines through a little bit.
Hold on, I gotta.
And I think that the muted.
If there was a person watching or listening to the show that is like a
germaphobe,
mixologist or something, they got to be shitting their pants.
Yeah.
So here we go.
All right, let me know what you think, man.
It's good, man.
Yeah, I kind of like this as a mixer for an old fashioned. I think that the sugar that we use for me that kind of it cuts through. I got to put a little more bourbon in mine too. Made it a little too sweet. But that sugar kind of cuts through that weird little metallic every time we did water or cold to it.
Yeah,
I started getting this metallic thing. The sugar kind of, I don't know if it mutes it or hides it in some way, or just is so overstated that you don't taste it. But I really like this, man.
When we were talking about like starting this show and deciding what we were going to do for the mixed,
right?
If you're a long-time watcher and you've watched the 2 of the episodes we've had so far,
right?
I never had an old fashioned before we started this expedition.
Right.
It's great, and I'm glad this is what we do because this is a good benchmark because we can go episode to episode and really taste the difference.
Right.
This is a pretty good old fashioned.
Yeah, I mean, it's not every bourbon makes a great old fashioned. I think we both agreed that there was nothing redeeming about the Basil Hayden that we had. Now, there's new Basil Haydens. You know, there's toasted ones and there's more refined ones than we have that might be completely different. But
Jim Beam, if you're listening, send us a bottle. We'll try something else.
Right, exactly. But yeah, this one is definitely a great old fashioned, man. I'll make sure there's some of this around for when I want an old fashioned. It's fantastic.
Oh man!
All right, hey, but this time I need you to promise me you're not going to drink the whole bottle. I mean, we are drinkers and not experts. I get that.
How much am I supposed to keep? Like 1 shot worth?
Just a couple of shots. I mean, I know this is visual for a podcast, but you can see I've got about 2 shots in my bottle.
And that's the That's the
Maker's Mark 46.
So what I'll do is I guess I have to buy another bottle of Maker's Mark 46 and pour
There
some
you go.
in there.
Pour a little bit out. That would work. That way we can catch up and kind of have the same. Doesn't have to be a precise measurement, but if we're both kind of layering the same the same bourbons, when we get to the end of the year for our 1 year anniversary, we'll give it a taste and see what we both think.
I'm into it.
All right, man. Listen, I don't know what our bottle is going to be next week. We're going to figure that out in the next week or so. We'll post it on all of our social media and let folks know. We'll try to do something a little more interesting. We've been doing a lot of standard bottles so far. In North Carolina, it's difficult for me because we have beverage control here, and we're not always able to get any special bottles. So, but we're going to see maybe if we can coordinate together and get something a little more.
We'll have to just meet at the line. You know,
yeah, we can do that.
Pass it off to you.
Yeah, no, we're for any officials out there who might be listening. We're just saying that we're not really going to ever do that. No, but it's fun to think about. But anyway, for those who are listening, we really thank you. We really appreciate it. Please remember to follow us on social media. Where are we, Mark?
Boozer Brothers with no hyphen or anything on all networks. Except Instagram. Amazingly, there was already a Boozer Brothers. So it's Boozer_Brothers, but everything else just straight up spell it out.
Fantastic.
We're getting ready. We got to start doing some TikTok. I'm going to start chopping up the funniest parts of our videos and putting them on TikTok.
Nice.
We're excited to engage with you guys. Everybody on all networks.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you all for tuning in. Mark, cheers.
Cheers. Go Panthers, right?
Go Panthers. They got a game tonight. I'm really
doing it early.
I'm really hoping we're all right. I hope we're all right. All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next Boozer Brothers podcast.
See ya.